Peace Collective. Today's message we are talking about going from the ugly duckling to the swan in the healing process and how the spiritual journey is so transformative to the soul, to the body, to the mind, to the emotions, and how we are going from that ugly duckling phase to the most beautiful swan of all. When I first started my journey, I seen myself as the most ugliest person to ever exist on this planet. And maybe not physically, but I felt it. And I remember having a coach for a short time, and he started talking to me about mirror work. And I started doing mirror work, and I started talking about, oh, I'm beautiful. I really didn't believe it, And then it would go to, okay, I'm beautiful, but you look crazy this morning. I gotta get myself together. But it wasn't just mirror work. I started to speak about how I did actions in kindness, kind actions towards another, and how being kind towards that person or doing that kind act ultimately allowed me to see the beauty within myself. See, I feel like I can summarize the healing journey to a few things. And it's much more complex than that, right? I'm just trying to simplify this for the normal person listening to this message at this time. We have to first of all self-accept. Accept ourselves at whatever point in time and season we are within our particular lives. When we accept ourselves, okay, now we are allowing ourselves to be honest with ourselves about the particular phase that we are in within this particular season of our lives. And when we go from self-acceptance, now we go into self-forgiveness, because we accept to where we're at in any particular season and point within our lives. But we also have to forgive ourselves for the actions that we've taken against ourselves. I'm very much big on accountability. When people ask me, what is my spirituality? There are many deities that I work with. There is certain practices that call out to me. But my spiritual practice and my spiritual belief is accountability. And so we move from self-acceptance to self-forgiveness. And we have to forgive ourselves for the actions we've taken against ourselves and against others. And it doesn't mean that you don't try to make amends. If you've done wrong, of course, my belief, again, accountability, you have to do what you can to set that right. And as I said that, 3:33, I wasn't even looking at the clock. I tell you guys, Divine was confirming that. And so you set that right. And then we move towards self-worth, right? So we have so far self-acceptance, self-forgiveness, self-worth. Now you are working to plant the seeds that you would love to see sprout in your reality, right? And that is, again, self-worth. You want peace, right? You want tranquility. You want joy, self-care. This is all going to be blooming and coming together. Who do you want to become? And you have to start seeing that you are worthy of the experiences that you are seeking. And those experiences are going to gravitate to you, and they're going to be seeking you when you see that you are worthy of those experiences, when you feel that you are worthy of those experiences. Now, I'm saying it in a very simple manner, direct, but I can tell you it's not simple, nor is it straightforward, nor is it a place that you're going to reach full healing or fulfillment within a couple months, and even years. This is something that takes a while from going from the ugly duckling to the beautiful swan. Now, we got self-acceptance, self-forgiveness, self-worth. Now it's self-love. Because now that you see that you are worthy, you have to start putting in your energetic field the love that you lacked, the love that you desired. Start nurturing yourself. You are the love that you reflect. Or excuse me, you receive the love that you reflect first. I got that from a song. I don't know the artist's name, but shout out to her. It's a woman. It's a woman. Yes, divine goddess. You are the love that you reflect first. Or you reflect the love that you are. Oh my God, I'm saying it backwards. I'm butchering her stuff. It's okay, not intentionally, I promise. And then you move from self-love to self-care. This is when you become the embodiment of everything you've been practicing. This is where you start merging together the mental, the emotional, the physical, the spiritual, and it all comes in to fruition. And you truly do start to age backwards. Now that I'm 37, y'all, I feel so honored to say that I am close to my 40s, looking the way that I do, feeling the way that I feel, because for the first time in my life, I truly feel beautiful. For the first time in my life, I don't need to hide behind makeup. And I'm not saying that makeup is wrong, that, having a certain desire for a certain look is wrong by any means. My personal journey has allowed me to embrace my skin because I realized that our skin is our biggest organ of all. And it reflects the internal workings of your physical vessel. So for me, the self-care is very much my diet, my skin regimen, the water that I drink, getting sun, being blessed by the sun, grounding, meditation, processing my emotions, a good cry when that good cry is there, and some naps, because I'm going to nap so hard after this. I actually gotta wash clothes, but I'm gonna nap hard at some point in time today, okay, before bed. I was actually debating even recording this message, but I was encouraged by Spirit to do so because I was like, I need a nap. Let me tell y'all, naps are it. And not only that, right? Moving away from the naps. Not only that, you start to care for your joints, your body again through yoga. It's not just diet, and your face regimens and self-care. It's movement. You understand that motion is lotion to the body, right? So you start moving your physical vessel because you want to retain that youthfulness. You want to honor the vessel and keep the vessel as young as possible. And it's not even from an egotistical standpoint, is you want to keep it limber. You don't want to be stiff. You don't want to be stagnant. And there are moments in my personal journey where my body is stiff, right? Because I've had a lot of trauma in my life in the past. Keeping that all to the past. And having that trauma, your body bears the heaviness of that. And this is why crying really is such a beautiful process of releasing and letting go what doesn't serve you and releasing the heaviness of those emotions. So I'm very friendly with yoga. And then at the same time, I know I need it if I want to keep operating from a very vibrant standpoint in this life. And I do. And trauma, there's this book that's called The Body Keeps the Score. And that book is very much true. I didn't read all of it. I've read segments of it. I've read, different parts. But what I read, it was very much true. Your body holds on to that trauma. So what are you doing in your healing journey to go from that ugly duckling to the swan? And it's not just about the physical beauty, because I look younger now, I feel, in my late 30s than I ever did in my younger 20s because how I was stressed out from the traumas. I didn't know how to process, I didn't know how to grieve, I didn't know how to let go. And now I'm changing the cycle of that, right? And it's a process that takes years, but understand that if you are actively in this journey, it's so much more, right? We can go into this healing journey, this spiritual journey, um, and understand that it's so much more than self acceptance, self forgiveness, self worth, self love, and self care. I just love breaking it down in those segments to get people to actively understand that there are steps in this journey that must be taken. And I do feel that it goes in that order. For me, it's gone in that order, but I don't see how it can go out of order for someone else, right? Because in order for us to bridge to the next one, right? In order for us to go from, to self-forgiveness, we have to first self-accept where we are before we can forgive. And then from the self-forgiveness, we work on our self-worth, right? Because we're no longer holding that thought of, oh, I deserve this. The bad is what's meant to come to me. Absolutely not. And then you go from the self-worth to the self-love because now it's the embodiment of you seeing that you are worthy. And in loving yourself, now you start to care for your vessel. So I feel like it actively plays on each other. It is, you're stacking the chips, you're essentially, or the tower, you are making that foundation. You are building something new after you've been broken down. So it's rebuilding. Okay. And as you're transmuting, right, you are creating the version of self that you want to be. And no one's going to sit here and say they want to be the ugly duckling. No shade to ducks, because I think ducks are absolutely amazing. And swans are beautiful within their own right as well, too. It is the journey and the evolution of it's the journey of evolution, the process that we all undergo to achieve the highest states of ascension that we can within this lifetime that's within our power, okay, that we've been granted permission to attain by the divine. And I don't see how you are living, how you are breathing, if you are watching this message and you haven't been granted permission by the Creator to refine and be the best version of self. The angelics told me something one time, and it's powerful and it stays with me even to this day. In order to access the higher heavens, you must walk through the fires of hell. And in walking through the fires of hell, this is where, your trials, your tribulations really show you who you are. In truth and essence, and everything that's false burns away. And you are refined into this beautiful version of self, just like a diamond under pressure and fire is refined, or coal under pressure and fire is refined into a beautiful diamond. You are also going through this process, and understand that your ugly duckling face is very much necessary, because if you were the swan, then there would be no reason for you to be on this earth plane experiencing life if you could attain no growth from it. This is your season to constantly refine. I was telling a friend, a very dear soul sister of mine, how at 37, if I got to speak to my 16-year-old self, my 16-year-old self would have never believed that we found peace. She was stuck, like really stuck in life and depressed and sad that she tried to take her own life multiple times. And all she sought for at that particular moment, my 16-year-old self, was peace. I was like, I don't care. I wanted death because I felt at that time in my life that even if it was all darkness, I would finally get the silence and the stillness, and in a way I would be protected from everything that tried to hurt me. And I'm so proud of the woman that I have become. I am grateful that that young version of myself did not find death. And even though my life has not played out ideally to, I think, anybody's desires, if you knew what I went through, it's a miracle that I'm even alive. And so, excuse me. Let me lower that down because that was ridiculous. I am so proud of who I am today. And it doesn't matter your age, it doesn't matter if you're 40, if you're 60, if you're 80. Become a better version of self. And so I was telling my friend, my 16-year-old self would have never believed if I told her everything else we suffered after 16, that I'm even able to walk, that I'm even able to have a clear head, that I'm even able to be here and exist in true love and really being loved and seen for the first time by the divine, by myself, by my beautiful reflection. Having a friend, one friend, truly, that sees me for me, and one friend compared to having a bunch of false friends. One true friend that loves you and sees you and understands you is worth the world. In a place and in a world that most people don't see you. Most people don't even acknowledge your struggle or the insights, the wisdoms that you've gained. I felt like when I was 16, I lived a life that most 40-year-olds didn't live. And now that I'm 37, I feel like I lived a life that most 80-year-olds don't live. And I've been so blessed by the divine to survive it all. And so in this beautiful process of becoming the Swan from the ugly duckling, the ugly duckling was never ugly. The ugly duckling just didn't know her worth. The ugly duckling was hurt and didn't know how to heal and carried on way too much baggage that all she had to do was let go. And it's not that simple when the world is constantly coming at you. And so now at 37, which I'm so proud to say my age, I can't imagine what this 60-year-old version of self will tell this 37-year-old, the things that we accomplish, dreams being fulfilled that at this particular point in time, I don't even see how. But I know they'll happen. You are not worth throwing away. You are not discardable. You are worth keeping. You are worth working on this version of self, not saying, you know what, screw it, let's get things right in another lifetime. No, today, this moment. It's worth you refining the beautiful versions of self, because the roads you've had to walk in hell, and if you stayed intact with your heart, I'm not saying you've been perfect, but if you stayed intact with your heart, you can access something greater that this world will never be able to give you. And it's a beautiful connection with the Creator, a knowing God because you see yourself. And I'm not saying you know every aspect of the Creator. I am saying that you get to personally know the ray of light and sunshine that expresses itself uniquely through you because the Creator breathed this version of life into you. So your journey from the ugly duckling to the swan may be difficult, it may be hard, It may have its challenges, but it is worth taking. Thank you for listening to this message from me and Divine. Take care. Peace.